post-Super Bowl blues kicking in. Like, no more football. What are we going to do now?
It's funny you would say that because that's part of my theory that we're going to get to.
Now?
Spotty Boy, who's on the videos. Spot, you're a guy that knows things. What's the stage of grief where you start rationalizing? Is rationalization one of the stages?
It's called bargaining. Rich.
Bargaining? Like, hey, I mean, I'm not on the team, so I mean, like, what could I do? I mean, I'm just a fan. I'm at that stage. I'm past like the madness. I'm past the man, and now I'm in the like.
That's pretty quick. That you're already there.
Well, I'll tell
he
you
doesn't
what.
want anyone's sympathy, I think, so
Sure.
he's trying to shut it down.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, be prepared because grief is not linear. You're going to bounce all over the stages of grief before you
Facts.
have acceptance.
Let me
No
tell
cap.
you.
Let me tell you this too, based on 2 weeks ago from myself and Dan Campbell. Be prepared to fight a lot of fights over Kyle Shanahan and the overtime decisions.
Yeah,
because that's
so we're going to get to that because I don't know because it's unprecedented as far as strategy, what to do when it comes to overtime. We're going to get to that. I have a theory about losing I want to start the show with. But, hey, like again, anything you want to chime in with at COVINO RICH.
Well, let's make this clear. If you're new to our show, millions of people tuning in every day. We had a great time Super Bowl week in Vegas. If you missed any of our shows, we had great interviews. We had great bonus podcasts. Gary Vaynerchuk, Little Dicky. We had Puka Nacua, NFL Superstars. Yeah, it's all on the podcast. Just search COVINO RICH wherever you stream or check us out on Fox Sports Radio's YouTube page. It's good to be back. But Rich, being a huge 49ers fan, he stayed for the game. He bought tickets, watched it, was close.
I was hanging out with our buddy Guy Fieri. I went to Flavortown for his tailgate. Then I went to the official NFL exclusive tailgate. Gwen Stefani had a concert.
Gwen Stefani!
It's... Again, let's decide what stage of grief this is. I'm a pretty lucky guy, so can I really be that mad? I'm in bargaining right now.
Justification part of it.
Justification.
And I think it's just fresh. I think I agree with Chris. I think you're gonna go kind of back.
Yeah.
Monty, I talked to my buddy Ro, who lives down in Atlanta, and he's a big Falcons fan. And he hit me up last night and he goes, "Brother, I feel your pain." He goes, "I have a suggestion for you." He goes, "Don't watch it back."
Whiskey.
He goes, take
yeah, for real. I was gonna say.
He goes, whiskey, and don't watch it back. He goes, watching it back, you might think, I was there. Let me watch it. He goes, no, because now you're gonna watch it again and hate it even more.
No.
It's not gonna give you the answers that you want.
It doesn't matter though.
It
I know there's some weird feelings sometimes when you watch things back. Maybe you could change the outcome.
Correct, or just like your perspective. But I don't think it's going to be in a positive way.
Like I'm going to see the McCaffrey fumble in the first quarter, and it's going to aggravate me like a second time.
And I'm going to see
ultimately, though, you're just at the mercy of that there was a higher power involved in this game. And that
can we turn the TVs off in the studio, by the way? Can we turn the...
I'll look into that.
Yeah.
But you just fell to a higher power, and his name is Patrick Mahomes. I don't know what else to tell you.
You know, it was said last night, and I agree. It's not that your 49ers lost. I mean... There was a few things that could have went their way, and there was a few mistakes along the way, but it's not that they lost.
Yeah.
It's that Patrick Mahomes won. It's as simple as that. He won, and he's the difference. It's as simple as that, Rich. So let me start off, because I know Rich has a million and one things to say, that it was an exciting game. It really was. It was a sloppy game in some ways, but still exciting. It went into overtime. Chiefs win 25-22. I think I came closest in prediction. I said 27-21.
You did.
So let me take a little credit
What,
there.
do you want a lollipop?
No, but I'm just saying. I mean, we can't talk about it and not readdress it because you're sad. So props to me and props to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. But, you know, Rich, I was pulling for your 49ers, and a lot of those little things didn't go their way. A ball off the dude's ankle. Right? The McCaffrey fumble was uncharacteristic of him.
100%.
You know, some questionable calls. It just didn't feel like, you know what was odd? It did feel like your game the majority of the game. It felt like it was your game to win, right, Danny G? It felt like a 49ers win until the very end when Patrick Mahomes became Patrick Mahomes.
You know, oddly enough, I won a few bets I made, but they're so irrelevant when your team loses. Like, I happen to look, I'm like, oh, yeah, I bet McCaffrey first touchdown of the Super Bowl is like plus 400. Won there. And my kid's Little League team does like a box pool where it's half goes to the league, half goes to you. I had 0 and 3, which was halftime and the third quarter. So I got a text like, congrats, you won the pool. And I'm like, who cares?
Yeah.
So
First off, tell us about the experience going to the Super Bowl. Rich was there again, got decent seats. What was it like? Did you spot any celebrities? Was the excitement like through the roof?
There were.
What'd you think of the stadium?
There were a couple things.
Yeah.
Danny G was so right on when he said Allegiant is where it's at. Danny, what they do, I don't think it's just because of Raiders black and silver and black. They black out that stadium, so even though sunlight could get in, it's got a nighttime feel. Because that game was played in the afternoon in Las Vegas. 3:30 in the afternoon.
Wow, nobody can tell what time it is in Las Vegas?
Yeah, they just like at the casinos, no windows.
Yeah,
but Danny,
they've been using that trick forever.
They really do a great job of really creating a vibe in that stadium.
That ceiling is shaded, so is all the glass in the windows, and so they did that on purpose. They wanted it to feel like the lights were down low.
Ceiling is the roof, so had that nighttime fun time vibe.
And observation number one is the stadium is beautiful, state of the art. Everything is top notch. It really is. It might have been the nicest NFL stadium. I liked Ford Field when I went to see the Lions play. There's a few good stadiums. It's better than Miami, where the Super Bowl was 4 years ago.
Irrelevant at this point, but DJ Cascade was the fill-in for Tiesto.
Yeah.
Because last minute he canceled because of a family emergency. I'm just saying, as far as vibe is concerned, did you notice it was
everyone's so tense about the game. It was like, the one thing you do realize too, the TV timeouts and stuff are longer, where it'll be like a random second down and they just stop and you're like, what's going on? It's like minutes.
Yeah.
That's why an in-house DJ is kind of important, so that's why I asked.
So that was sort of fun, but I have a theory about when your team loses. First of all, don't watch the game back. That gives
that
gives you no joy.
I disagree.
Why? So I can't second guess everything?
If you're a Joe Schmo, a Ro Schmo, like our buddy Ro said, like there's no joy in watching it over. This is what you do for a living. And we invested so much into this season, into every season, but so much this season because of your team. And they were so good. And we talk about this every day. For you not to watch this game, as painful as it may be, you're doing a disservice to yourself and everybody else. We watched this entire season.
I saw it live. I don't need to watch it again.
Because I don't know how many times I went back and watched that Lions 49ers game.
What, did it make you feel better?
No, but I had to do it. I had to do it for work, though.
No, but you want to hear what the commentary was? Don't you want to hear what Romo had to say?
Nothing. No.
Don't you want to hear how...
It's over. Let me give you an analogy of how I feel. The fact that the 49ers lost in overtime, but on the last play, just keep this in mind. The Chiefs win the Super Bowl on the last play, season's over. So the 49ers gave me joy 99.9% of the year, and the 0.01 was crushing. Because until the last 3 seconds of the football season, they gave me joy.
And then it's like McCurl Hardman knew he won the game.
The 0.01 is what's like crushing. And I was texting our boss about this. I said, losing the Super Bowl is an odd thing because some people say, well, my team never gets there. There is something rough about losing in the wild card round, right? Because then you got to keep watching the playoffs and you're like, oh, my team may have beat this team, or now you're watching teams continue to play while your team's out of it. When you lose the Super Bowl, it's almost like season's over. On to the NBA or baseball.
Like you're able to move on faster when there's still football going on?
I think you might be because there's no football anymore.
Right. Like that's it. That's the end of it.
My team was winning until there was 3 seconds left.
Yeah.
I had devastation.
Yeah.
And then I don't have to watch football next week.
Right.
Now I could distract myself with the Lakers or the Mets or something.
This is your last football memory of the season.
Oh.
Yeah, his last football memory
of the
is
season.
No, it's like
Hardman catching the football, not even realizing that he won the game.
Right, because everyone was confused about the
he
OT
said,
rules.
yeah, he said he blacked out.
Yeah.
I mean, he knew it was a big catch. I don't think he knew he won the game.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yeah.
And it was like, whoa, they just won.
let me give
I
you this.
wasn't sure either. I was confused about the
A
rules.
lot of people were.
Let me give you this thought. If you're a Niners fan, and I know there's a lot around the country and listening to Fox Sports Radio, do you rather be the team that always gets close but doesn't get the job done, or do you rather be the team that makes the postseason here or there and you're perpetually just missing?
You don't want that reputation.
Well, hold on.
Ask the Bills fans how they feel.
No, but
about
what
that.
I'm saying is, if you go through,
that's some damn heartbreak.
Yeah, you
if
don't
you go
want
through
that.
the last 10+ years, let me take you back.
You don't want to be Mr. Almost.
Let me take you back. The 2011 season, 49ers are playing the Giants in the NFC Championship game. They lose on a fumble in overtime. 2012, they lose to the Ravens when the 49ers were driving in the fourth quarter. In 2013, NFC Championship game. That was the Crabtree's a bum, Richard Sherman game. 2019, Chiefs beat you when you're up by 10 in the Super Bowl. The Rams beat you because you drop an interception the next year. The year after that, the Eagles win when Purdy gets hurt. And now this year, you lose in the Super Bowl. The Niners have lost 7.
Did you say the 2012 game as well?
Yeah, the 2012 was the Ravens Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Harbaugh. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're looking at 7 times in the last 11 seasons, the 49ers have lost the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl. It's like getting in bed with a woman that's a 12.
No, it's not.
And can I say this on Fox? And you're not allowed to finish. What?
Did you take your human resources training yet?
No, I mean, that's the fair analogy, right? It's like getting to the NFC Championship game or Super Bowl 7 of the last, I think, 12 seasons, right? And it's like being with the perfect woman and not being able to, let's just say, end the night.
Yeah, no, it's disappointing.
It's like, I want to be able to walk out of a stadium not being like, oh, man, next season.
And I hate to say it, Rich, and I'm not going to rub salt into the wounds, especially this early, but you guys couldn't win with that squad.
It's Patrick Mahomes.
You can always say good luck. There's always next year, but yeah, guess who's there next year? Patrick Mahomes.
I have so many.
It's so hard to get there.
I have a list of thoughts.
Dude, there's so many sexy names on that team, man. If you can't win with this cast of characters, I don't know how you're going to do it.
Dude,
this was the team to win with. They had every element of a winner.
And when you're that close, overtime, you can't get closer than overtime where you score and then the other team just scores a touchdown. It's like the closest way you could lose in a game. And I wrote down here on my notes, one of my 5 billion notes today, Mahomes may be to the NFL what Michael Jordan was in the 90s, and that's a guy that prevents other great teams from ever getting there.
This is why you need to watch the game, because they said that at the very end of the game.
I don't need to watch it.
Yeah, no.
I lived
but it's so true. It's the closest thing where one dude
Josh
can
Allen
make such a difference.
Joe Burrow.
And think of the level of competition. He's playing against the other greatest players
Lamar
in
Jackson.
the world.
I just named 3 right there in the NFC. I'm sorry, in the AFC. Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson may continuously get shut out because this guy's alive and playing well.
He's going to prevent so many other great players from getting a championship, a la Michael Jordan, how he did. But, it also goes to show you that, or remind you that, when you always talk about GOATs and he's the new GOAT and he may surpass Tom Brady beat him in the Super Bowl. Just makes it that much more amazing. In his prime.
Yeah.
In Mahomes' prime.
They're doing some pretty magical things in Kansas City. So I'll tell you what, not being a sore loser, it was a clean game. A couple penalties, but they were all legit penalties. I think Kansas City, you guys got a dynasty. You should be super pumped. You could be the first team that three-peats.
Definitely the start of one. Definitely the start of a dynasty, but we're not done yet. We're not finished yet. He was very adamant, bro.
No one's ever three-peated?
Now that nobody's – because you know what?
The closest was.
Well, that's the thing about greats too, Rich, is they always find their own lanes and ways to do something that no one's ever done before. Patrick Mahomes may never get 7. He might. He might get 7. He's still young enough. But if they get 3 in a row, man, he paved his own way to do something miraculous.
Tom Brady couldn't win 3 in a row. Joe Montana couldn't win 3 in a row. I would not be surprised if Patrick Mahomes won 3 in a row.
And like they said, young team. And we saw the struggles early on, but they still find a way to do it.
But yeah, it's when your team gets that close, that's like question 1. Do you rather your team get there and lose or just not get there? Because there's something devastating about being there and losing. Our boss Scott, he's like,
get there and lose because at least you had the chance.
He's a Viking. He's a Vikings and Twins fan. He's like, my team hasn't been in a championship since '91. I'm like, yeah, I guess.
I was thinking about the Clippers. I'd rather be like, oh, we went to the Western Conference Championship.
Monty, you rather
3
be
times the last 5 years.
You rather be Game 7 NBA Finals and the Clippers fall short.
Yes,
yeah,
of course.
And he already answered the question.
There.
You know why? You know how much fun we all had, courtesy of his team, the 49ers.
Right.
And the season of fun that you had because they played this well.
Yeah.
You can't take that away just because they lost the last game. Yeah, it makes it a little more painful, but they gave you so much more to root for a trip to Vegas. You're there at the game. You wouldn't have done any of those things if your team wasn't there. So, I mean, they provided a lot of fun for everybody, especially the fans. So it's tough, but yeah, of course you would take that over not being there at all.
I think it's just different stakes. Like once you've done it enough, it's hard to get over that hump, and it's like you start to regret those falls that you have been having for the 49ers versus, someone like me or Monsi. Like, we want to just see our teams get there.
Yeah,
like,
you want to see your
we
logos.
want to be consistent. We want to be consistent and like showing up every year.
Danny G, I was thinking of you because it was at Allegiant. I'm like, these Raider fans, do you think they have no sympathy? They're thinking you got back 1 year in the 2000s and should have won and lost to Tampa, and that was heartbreaking, I'm sure, to you. Because that team should have won.
Yeah, and of course that was Gruden getting traded to Tampa Bay, and they knew the Raiders' playbook. It was horrible.
So the idea of being back, I get, is exciting, but I'm telling you, when you keep getting close, there's a different level of pain. I'm not saying it's worse or better or anything, but your team not making the playoffs consistently sucks. But you know what also sucks? Getting to the finish line and tripping every single time, year after year after year. Like, if you're a Buffalo Bills fan, think of how you felt in the 90s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Bills. What does it stand for? Because I love losing Super Bowls? Is that what the joke
Something
was?
like I agree with you. I think it hurts more. I think you are hurting more than everybody else, but in the grand scheme of things, I would rather hurt more than have my team never get there.
Having love lost or never loved at all.
Yeah, Shakespeare.
However it goes, that's basically what it is.
We quote Shakespeare a lot on the show.
That's exactly what it is, Rich. It's like
to live, to die.
I would take that all day. And it's not like they embarrassed themselves yesterday.
No.
But what was noticeable, and this is no knock on Purdy, I'm not that guy. He played a good game. He was good.
He's
just not Mahomes, and that's noticeable.
And that's also okay.
And that's okay
in his
because
first year
nobody
as a
is.
starter.
By the way, that's what makes Mahomes great. So it's not even fair to say, but it is because you have eyeballs noticeable that, oh man, that's what a difference maker is.
So